Like I said, wasn't my fault. There wasn't no partial today. So y'all got stuck with what I was given. She got him right there. She's passing now. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me make sure that my mic is on and all that stuff. Yep, that's all okay. All right. So what's our first word here? All right, so we have the letter hey, and it's pointed with kamatz, ha. Then we have the letter aleph, silent letter, but it's pointed with what? Sere, followed by lamed. So o, el, hael. All right, hael. All right, what about our next word? All right, so we have the letter hey, and it's pointed patach, right? So ha. Then we have the letter mem, and it's pointed how? Silent shiva, because we're following a short duration vowel point. Silent shiva does what? Closes the syllable, so that makes it hum. Hum sandwich. Hum. Then we have the letter aleph, silent letter, but it's pointed with short duration vowel point. Patach, right? So, ah. But then we have what? Zayin, and it's pointed how? It has dagesh. So what's that going to do? We're going to double it, right? So that now becomes az. Then we have another Z sound. And then what kind of shva is this? It's vocal because it's under a letter that has this dagesh in. So that gives us the sound z. Right? Then we have a resh pointed sere, re. And then nun pointed kiri kyo, ni. So we have ham azereni. Ha amaz ha. Let me try it again. Ham azereni. Ham azereni. It is. Ham azereni. All right, what about our next word? All right, so we have the letter het, and it's pointed kamatz, cha. Then we have a yud, and it's pointed kirik with lamed, yil, yil. All right, chayil. Chayil. All right, what's the next word? So we have the wa, and it's pointed patach. So we know that the patach is going to give us our vowel sound. So we're going to have a consonant sound from the wa. Va. But then we got this yud here, and it's got dagesh. So it's going to be kind of like two Y's or two I's, or an I and Y. So this goes from being va to vai. Vai. Then we pick up the Y sound and the kirik, yi. So then we have this tav, and it's got a dagesh inside. So what are we going to do with it? We can, because it's following another vowel point, right? So this goes from being yi to yeet. Yeet. All right. Yeet. And then we have the tav pointed sere with nun sofit, 10. All right, so vayiten. Vayiten. I've eaten. Vayiten. All right, what about the next word? All right, we have the tav, and it's pointed with kamatz, ta. Then we have this mem pointed kirik yod with mem sofi. Ta mim. Tamim. Tamim. All right. And then what about this last word here? All right. So we have the dalet, and it's pointed with patak and then a resh. But this patak is short duration. So that makes this shiva silent. Close the syllable. Dar. Dar. Then we have a kaf pointed kiri kyod ki. Dar ki. Dar ki. All right. So we have transliterated our first sentence, right? So let's go ahead and read it together. We have Ha'el Hamazereni Chayil Vayiten Tamim Darki. Let's do it again. Ha'el Hamazereni Chayil Vayiten Tamim Darki. All right. Ha'el. Ha'el. So how would we translate Ha'el? Okay, we know that the word El, spelled this way, means the singular of Elohim, right? Or a mighty one, a deity. The Ha is pointing us to, right? It's the, all right? So what we can say is, instead of the El, because see how we've got Ha-El Hamazereni. So it's just like King David, right? If we were to talk about King David, we would call him Hamelech HaDavid. All right? Hamelech, the king, the David, right? Or HaDavid, Hamelech, you can do either one, right? But it's a way of showing that this is someone in particular. Yeah. So what we can say is, instead of Ha-El, instead of the El, we could say he is the El. Okay. And that will make more sense when we look at this second word. All right. So yeah, I didn't know if she was on or not. Sister Diane, Mom just let me know that you were on. So if you would like, I don't know how versed you are in the language, but if you would like the introductory packet that we give to everybody so they can see the letters and you learn the sounds and see what the vowel points and stuff are. And it has some grammar rules and stuff in case, if you would like that, just make sure that you give me, or you can put your email in the chat, and we'll make sure that next week that you receive the packet and the lesson as well. Yeah, we'll get it sent to you just as soon as we possibly can. That's no problem. I got to put it back together anyway, because I did update some few things on it. So, but I have the new updated ones kind of put together. So I can just include all those, put them in a zip file, and we can send them off. So if that's something that you'd like, just send your stuff and we'll get it to you. All right. So we're going to say it's still going to be the L, right? But we know that he's doing something or has done something. So what about Hamazereni? Okay, well, and it will be in this case because we have Ha'el. So Hamazereni, it's kind of tying them together. Okay. All right. So what do you think our root word is here? Azar. Very good. Very good. So Azar, right here in the middle. The Aleph, Zayin, Resh. Azar. So the word Azar means to gird, okay, or to put a belt around, right? Now, back in the old days and in the scriptures, it talks about gird up your loins. I remember what Yahweh told Job. He said, gird up your loins like a man, right? And you're going to answer what I asked you. So what they would do is they would take their long garment and they would pull it up kind of between their legs and they would tuck it into their belts and they could go work in the field or they could, but it was a way of keeping your garment nice, but still allowing you to work and ma'am. Yeah, and not expose yourself. Like if you're bending over, Well, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? They didn't, Haynes wasn't around in them days. So that, but that's girding yourself. Okay. It's wrapping something around your waist. So Hamazereni. All right. So the one who girds me, the knee on the end, me. Okay. The girder of me, the one who belts me up, the one who, okay. And I'm using that word gird because that's what it is in the scriptures. That's what it is in the King James. That's what most of us know. So he is the L, right? The one who girds me up. So I'm just going to put that. Just sounds funny, huh? That girds me up. So he's the one that makes me strong. Okay? He's the one that helps me, be who I'm supposed to be. So what about the word chayil? Okay, so the word chayil, it does mean a soldier, but that's actually, the soldier meaning is actually kind of an offshoot. It's a description. All right. The word chayil means to be strong, to be mighty, to be valiant. That's where the whole soldier thing comes from, being brave and being valiant. All right. So in here, it's really being translated as, how is he girding you up? He's doing it mightily, okay, with strength, right? He's the one that girds me up. And we can say with strength. Yeah, we can put the with in parentheses. Yeah, we can do that. So he is the L that girds me up with strength, comma. What about vayiten? And yiten. Very good, Devorah. Thank you so much. So the wa is being used as a prefix here. So and, okay. And so now we've got this yiten. But what is it? No. This is conjugated. Okay. So it's yiten in its pre-conjugated form is the word Natan, just like the prophet. Okay. So what does Natan mean? It's very simple. Natan's meaning is very simple. He went to King David and did what? He gave him some information he didn't want. The word Natan means to give. Natan, give. Okay. So vayiten and will, all right, and will give. Okay. Vayiten and will, because the yud means what? Will or shall, right, with the implied masculinity. So it makes sense that it's yiten, right, because we're talking about he is the L, all right, and will give. What about the word tamim? Okay, the word tamim, it means to be innocent, right? But it also can mean to be morally upright. It can mean to be truthful. It can mean also integrity. Okay? Because if something is true, it has integrity. If it is whole, it has integrity, right? Means it's not broken. It's, you know what I mean? It's whole. Okay? So he girds him up with strength and will give what? Integrity. Then we have the word darki. So what's our root word? You got your sounds backwards. So take your middle sound and your last sound and switch them. Well, you're the one who said it. I'm trying to help you. Yeah. All right. So if we take this yod off the end, no, pronounce that. Do it in your normal root fashion. Kamatz patach. How would we pronounce that? Da. Then you start out with the second. What's your second consonant? A resh. So what sounds that make? Okay. And then if you put a patach underneath it, darach, which is where we get the word derech, our way, our path, our means of walking, our walk. Now, this yud on the end is telling us what? My. Because derech, in this case, it's a noun. So you can have the yud on the end for personal ownership. It's mine. It's my walk. Okay? So we'll give integrity, parentheses, to my walk or my path, right? So he says, he is the L that girds me up with strength and will give or gives integrity to my walk or path. All right. This is Psalm 18 and 32. And the King James translates it as, it is L that girds me with strength and makes my way perfect. Now, let's talk for just 1 second about that word. Some of y'all already know where I'm going to go with it. When the scriptures talk about something being perfect, it does not mean that it does not make a mistake. Okay? If that was the case, why would it tell us that a righteous man falls 7 times? But what does he do? He doesn't lay there in the dirt and wallow in it, right? He gets back up, dusts himself off, repents, and goes on his way. He keeps walking. Okay? The scriptures tell us that if the righteous scarcely be saved, where will the sinner and the unlike Elohim appear? So the thing is, if we could be perfect and never make a mistake, why would we need the blood of Yahushua? We can't be. We are flesh and blood. We are the seed of Adam, right? In Hebrew, the word perfect, right? This word perfect, they're getting that from tamim. There's clean. My hands are clean, right? Who shall ascend into his holy hill? He who has what? Clean hands and a pure heart. I've not done anything wrong, right? So my hands are clean. But the word that they use for perfect in the scriptures, it simply means that you are complete. Remember we talked about integrity? It has no holes in it, right? A perfect man is complete. He has integrity. He is fully grown. He is mature in the word. Does not mean that he doesn't make a mistake. Okay. The hard part is we got to know that we can't fall back. It's because it's easy to say, oh, well, he knows my heart. He knows I want to do right. I'm just a man. I'm just flesh and blood. That's easy to do. And a lot of people do that. The thing about this walk is that this walk is different because why? We have to make an attempt. We've got to try our best. That's what he's expecting. That's what he's looking for, right? He's wanting to see us put forth the effort, right? What did Shaul say? What did he say? He said, I have fought the good fight. I've kept the faith, right? He said, I press toward the mark, the high calling. If you're pressing towards something, you're not just sitting back and letting it happen. You got to put some effort in, right? He wants to see. It's kind of like what you were talking about with Abraham, right? When he took Isaac up on the mountain. Father was content to let it all go down. And right before he gets ready to jug him, that's a Mississippi for you, ain't it? He gets ready to stab him with the knife. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stay your hand. Do not harm the lad. Although he's 30 years old, don't harm the lad. All right. Yeah. But my point is, he said, now what did the angel say? And this is the part that kind of throws people for a loop. He said, stay your hand, harm not the lad, for now I know that you are one who fears Elohim. The Father knows everything. So why would he say, well, now I know? Because exactly, there's a difference in knowing something in theory and knowing something in experience. So again, the Father wants to see. He knows what he wants you to do in theory, and he knows what you should do, but he wants to see what are you going to do. So remember this, like I said, the word perfect does not mean that you never make a mistake. And it does not mean that you don't slip up. All right? It just means that you're grown, that you're mature, that you are, you're complete. But again, we have to remember we cannot use that as an excuse. We got to give our best all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's looking for. So right here, this is what the psalmist is saying. Who is this El that you're talking about? He's the one that girds me up. He strengthens me, right? Scripture say I can do all things through Moshiach who strengthens me, right? He's the one who strengthens me, who gives me my strength when I'm at my lowest point, all right? And he keeps my walk straight. So I don't go to the right hand or to the left, right? What it says, straight and narrow. So anyway, that is Psalm 18 and 32. Are there any questions on this particular one? If not, I will erase it and we shall move on to our second sentence. All right. All right, so let's move on to our next sentence here. All right. This looks a whole lot more difficult than what it really is. All right, so what's our first word? First of all, we got a hyphenated word, right? Let me draw this hyphen in here because this guy is modifying this guy right here. All right, so what's this first word? All right, shamar. We have the letter shin. We know it's a shin because the indicator's on the right-hand side. And it's pointed with vocal shava because it's the beginning of a word. So that gives us the SH sound with a quick E, sh. Then we have a mem pointed kamatz with a resh, m-ar, shmar. All right, shamar. Now what's the next word? Tom. Tom. Like a tom-tom. Have some good crackers, huh? All right, what's our next word? Do what? No. No. It's an oo. Okay. And the reason is because resh is one of those letters that a wa in front of it that's pointed shuruk doesn't have to have a consonant sound. All right. So it's oo, and then we have this resh. What kind of shva is that? You tell me. You've been in this class for 15 years. If it's long, then that means that that's the re sound, right? Which shuruk is a long. It is. Okay, su u re e. Aleph is silent, pointed sere with a hey behind it. E-H-H, if you will. Eh. Right? So, how we pronounce this word? U re. Re. Right? Quick long. U re. What's the next word? Yashar, right? Yud a sh r. Yashar. It's easy to get stuff stuck in your heads. All right. Look, we got another hyphenated word here. All right. So what's the first part of it? Our old friend ki, right? We have the kaf and then we have the kirikyo, right? Ki. What's our second word here? All right. So we have the letter aleph, pointed patak, short duration A type vowel. Ah. Then we have a chet and it's pointed how? Katef patach, shorter, reduced form of short A. So acha, acha. Then we have a resh pointed kirik yod with tav behind it. Arit, acharit, achrit. All right, so you could pronounce that acharit or achrit because of the katef, the katef patak. It's so short that you can just kind of drop it a little bit. All right, achrit. All right, what's our next word here? Okay, so we have a lamed and it's pointed with vocal shiva because at the beginning of a word, so that gives us a quick E. So we have an L sound and an E. Le. We have aleph, silent letter, but it's pointed kirik yod with sheen behind it. Ish. All right, so leish. All right, le ish. This is not leish that you take your dog for a walk with. Leish. All right, and then what's our last word here? Shalom, right? We have the sheen pointed kamatz sha. Then we have lamed pointed cholemwa with mem sofit. Shalom, lom, shalom. All right, so we have transliterated our sentence. Let's read it together. We have shamartam. Remember, anytime we have a hyphen, what do? Cram them words together if we can. Okay? So we have shamartam ure'e yashar ki achrit leish shalom. Let's do it again. Shamartam ure'e yashar ki achrit leish shalom. All right, so shamartam. Shamartam. So what does the word shamar mean? It is. Okay, so the word shomer, right? To guard, to keep, to protect, to hedge about. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to translate this as watch, right? Because part of guarding and protecting is doing what? You got to watch, right? So I'm going to I'm going to translate this as watch. So who are we watching, or what are we watching? Tam. That's right. Okay, so we're going to watch tam. Now, what is tam? What does tam mean? Okay, so at the previous sentence, we had a word there. What was that word? Tamim, right? Plural. So what's the singular of tamim? Tam, which is what? All right, so it's not plural, so it's one. A clean person, right? Because it still has an sound, right? So it's a clean person, a clean man, a clean, and I don't mean, you know, I'm just talking about a clean person, a clean human. Thank you. All right. So we're going to watch. Who are we going to watch? This perfect one, right? And again, I'm not saying that he don't ever make a mistake, but he's sincere about what he's trying to do. Okay? So it says, watch this perfect one. What about ure'eh? The wa is a prefix meaning and. So what does that leave us with? Re'eh, which means what? To see. Very good. There is a parsha called re'eh, which means see. Look, see. Okay? So watch this perfect one and see what? All right. The word upright, or the word yashar, means upright. Okay. Morally upright. Okay. All right. So watch this perfect one and see, or let's do us a good old King Jamesian word here, and behold. All right. And behold upright. We'll put a comma here, because now we have the word, we have another hyphenated word, ki achrit. So ki is what? For, that, or because. Since it's King James, we're going to use for, okay? But they all mean the same thing. For what? Achrit. Okay, so the word achrit may sound plural, but it is not. Not typically. The word achrit means the future or a posterity. So you have a person, and their posterity is what? Those who are down the line from them, right? Their descendants. Okay. So we can say for, let's see what, for his future, or for the future. Well, we won't put that in because that'll be in the next word. Okay, his future. What about leish? All right, le, to man. So you could say for the future of this man. Does that make sense? Of this, leish, of this man. And then we have the word shalom. So peace, shalom also means safety. Okay, it's hard. We need to, shalom means peace and it means safety. Okay, that's one definition that we tend to forget about, but it means safety as well. Okay, So, but we will say peace. So the future of this man, parentheses, is, and then peace. All right. To say when a man's ways please Yahweh, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. And that's what it's talking about here. He's saying, watch that perfect person. And behold the upright. Okay? He's grown. His heart is upright before Yahweh. That's what he's saying. He's saying, watch him. Learn from him. Why would you want to learn from him? Because his future, his end, is going to be a peaceful one. So that's what the psalmist is telling us. Watch this guy. Learn from him. Emulate him. Right? Because if you do, then there's a peaceful end for you as well. The scriptures talk about that he knows the thoughts that he has towards us, right? Thoughts of an expected end. That word expected in the scriptures is literally a hopeful end. So these are good things. This is Psalm 37 and 37. King James translates it as mark the perfect man. So watch him. Take note. Okay? And behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. What? All right. So Psalm 37 and 37. All right, so we're going to move on to our paleo word real quick. And this is a pretty short paleo word, but it's going to be fun. It's got a good meaning to it here. All right, so here's our paleo word. Okay, so the paleo is the older form. There's a form even older than paleo, but we use the paleo kind of as an in-between because each one of these letters has kind of a meaning to it, and we can take these words and translate them to mean something, but then we can take a look at all these letters that went into them and all of these meanings that go into that word to create that word. So this is a form that was used somewhere 1100 to 900 years BC is the form that this was, this form here. So we use both forms, like I said, when we want to have a little more understanding into what one of these other words means, we can look at it in this form and come up with some pretty good stuff. So what's our first letter here? All right, this is the letter mem right here. All right, so what is our next letter? That's the letter wa. All right, so then what's the next letter? This circle. That's ayin, right? And then what's our last of this triangle? What's this? That's a dalet. So I'm going to fill in your vowel sounds for you. So that's the word mayod. We talk about mayod, right? All right. Mayod. So the word mayod has a lot of meanings. But in the case of what we're talking about today, let's think about it in the form, what we talked about during the Parsha lesson earlier. We were talking about what? What were we talking about? We're talking about the feasts and our place in them. But there's something else that we were talking about. Time, being on time. Having the timeline, right? Being on his timeline and not on our own. Okay? So the word mayod, it can mean a day. can mean a season. It can mean an appointed time. It could mean a festival day. It can mean all of these things. All right. It can also mean what? A lot. Tov meod. All right. Somebody asks you, how are you doing? Tov meod. I'm doing great. You know. So the concept of meod, it's very positive. Very positive thing. Okay. But again, it touches not only day to day, but years, festivals, appointed times, holidays. That's why they're called Moadim. The scriptures talk about these appointed times because they are times that are set. They're not flexible. Father said, this day of this month at this time. They're not flexible. This is the appointed time. Right? So here's the thing. Let's take a look at these paleo meanings. So the mem is what? It's water, right? But it's that flowing anointing as well. All right. So what's the wa? It's a nail, right? Joins things. All right. So what's this? What's this ayin? All right. It's an eye, right? Means to see, to know, to understand, to comprehend. All right. And then dalet. What is dalet? It's a doorway, it's a gate, it's a path, right? So what we see here, especially in regards to his moadim, his appointed times, his set times and festivals, all right? We see anointing and understanding, a pathway. All right. So when we set our hearts to do the right thing and we reject those pagan days that we were raised with, and we seek after to do his stuff, to do it the right way, right? When we do that, and like I said, this is a short one, but it's really good. When we reject that stuff and take on the mantle of his Moadim, it sets us on an anointed and understanding path. Okay? And the reason why it does that is because that's the only way that we can walk closer with him. He can't walk on a path that's dirty and filthy and corrupted and sin. That's why this, well, yeah, exactly. That's why he told him, if you got to go to the bathroom, take a paddle and attach it to your sword, go outside the camp, do your business, right? Because the scriptures say Yahweh walks through the midst of the camp. And he ain't going to be walking in your field. And it's the same thing with these other things, right? People want to talk, oh, Christmas, oh, Easter, da 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 da. The scriptures tell us that our righteousness is as filthy rags. Okay? Oh, the kids have fun and da da da. That ain't what it's all about. Okay? But that's the thing. Some people, oh man, I celebrate Easter and we do this and blah, 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 blah. Man, I got to go back to the part where it says that you're righteous. That's your righteousness, right? And your righteousness is as filthy rags. Yo.
I still remember the day I was watching a video on the origins of Easter, and it made me sick, physically sick. What it represents, really, it just made me physically sick.
Well, I saw a guy on YouTube or TikTok or something the other day. Anyway, this guy's on there a lot, and he's this super smart anthropology guy. He knows everything there is to know about ancient cultures, da 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 da. And he was going on. There was a guy talking about the origins of Easter. And this guy, of course, he was jumping in there every possible chance he could get.
oh well, the pictures of the Virgin Mary were seen with and that's where the rabbits and the this and the that come from. Blah blah blah.
He didn't go into any of the junk from the Teutonic deities, any of the, the stuff about the fertility rituals to Astara, any of the, he didn't go into any of that, right? But well, I don't know about all that, sis. I wasn't there. Okay. But well, they also used to say that we would drink baby's blood at Passover. So you got to take that kind of stuff with a grain of salt. Okay. My point is this: the history is that it came from this place, this place, this place. This was the deity that was tied to it. They did this for fertility rituals, all that. So that's what I can see. I wasn't there with any of the other stuff, so I just don't know. But I know what the history says, right? But there's no way, and we just talked about this, you can't take a pagan festival, and I don't care how much you clean it up, you can't turn it around for it to be for Yahweh. Would you all agree with that? You can't, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You can put all the lipstick, makeup, and perfume on a pig that you want. It's still a pig, right? So I don't care what we just changed the name. I don't care how many times you change the name. The root is still there. Correct? The root is still there. Exactly. I'll tell you that story here. That's a pretty good one. But you know what I'm saying? That's my thing. You can't take what's unclean. You can't take, like we said, you can't take what Yahweh's cursed and bless it and change it. You can't do it. It's impossible, right? Pig is always going to be a pig, right? Crab is always going to be a crab. Whatever. You can't take that and pray over it and bless it. Oh, he made all things to be accepted for food with thanksgiving, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something, all right? Those things that you're trying to claim as food were never food in the first place. So that's not what Paul's talking about. Grow up. All right? Grow up. That is not what Paul was talking about. What he's saying is the things that are food, that those are to be accepted with thanksgiving. Those you can pray over, and hey, it's great. But you can't take a pig or a dog or a raccoon or a rat or whatever. You can't take none of that stuff and change it. You can't change the nature of it. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? Eating the swine and the mouse and the abomination. Now you can't fix that. You can't change it. I don't care what your pastor says or your rabbi. You can't. There ain't no such thing as big K and little K kosher. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. But anyway, like I said, when we reject those things, and this food follows into that too, because every festival we have, except for one, there's a pretty good amount. I think it kind of centers around the food. You know what I mean? Israelites eat a lot. All right. So the thing is, when you reject that junk and you go with what the word says, when you do the data dump, right? And you dump that junk, right? When you do that and you walk after him, then you begin to walk on that anointed and understanding pathway. Because he can't walk on it when it's filthy and disgusting. Same reason why he's going to have to destroy this earth and bring up a new one, right? Because the New Jerusalem can't come down and sit on this old corrupt planet. Beautiful as it is, can't do it. So, that's what's cool about the Moedim. They set us on this type of path. We got to learn to accept them. And do them when? Not at our convenience, but on his time. All right.